So for those of you who haven't seen, there's a video on Mad Art's channel where he has taken Inktober and made a maladaptive daydreaming prompt list from it. He has a whole video explaining why, and he has the list posted on his Tumblr. So you can go check that out if you want to do it. Here on this channel, we are also going to be doing it. But I do not talk about my worlds or characters or plots. So we're going to be taking the prompts a different way and just kind of talking about how they might relate to maladaptive daydreaming. Also, I can't draw, so be expecting stick figures. Ideally, I will have a new one up every day, but we'll see how it goes. So day one is Parame. And yes, I know it is Parame, but I like the way Parame sounds better, so I am saying it that way. So the word Parame actually comes from Tumblr. The Tumblr community a few years back, just kind of a few blogs had decided, you know what, character doesn't really work for me. It doesn't really explain how I actually feel about these characters. I think I need like a new word. And the word that they came up with was para. It's Greek. I think it means beside or parallel. It had a nice connection to the word paracosm, which is already used to describe like fantasies and inner worlds and things. And then they expanded it to include some other things, and one of those was the parame, the self character. So what that is it's just you in your daydream. The academic research calls it the idolized self, and it's really, really common in maladaptive daydreaming to daydream yourself as the main or a main character in your daydreams. And for this you character to be a bit idolized, to be a bit better than you actually are, or what you think is a bit better than you are. You know, if you're socially anxious in real life, maybe the self character is charismatic. I don't know what I'm doing here. I can't draw. So here we have our little schlub, our little us in real life with ill-fitting, raggedy clothes and messy hair and a socially awkward little smirk. And here our Parame. Here we go. We're gonna have clothes that fit. That's what I'm trying to go for anyway. Here we go. We'll give her cool trendy boots. Yeah, buttons are still cool, right? Big happy smile, long lashes that people can actually see. I'm a redhead, so you can't see my lashes unless I put on like a ton of mascara. And I don't know, what are we gonna do here? Here we go. We'll give her perfect little ringlets with a lovely side part, because I can never pull that off. This is what you're in for. This is what you're in for the next 31 days. Stick figures. That's okay though. That's not what Inktober is about, or Maddtober, as Dr. Levi at Mad Art calls it. So go ahead and just prepare yourself for that. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. So that's what the parame is. It's the idolized self, the self-insert, the you in your daydreams. But it does encompass a little more than that, because it doesn't actually have to be you. This is just the character that acts as you. You know, this is the character that is your stand-in in the world. It's who you would identify yourself with. I don't know if I'm really making sense here, but I'm just saying, in real life, I can be dimmer, but in my daydreams, I can be Hermione Granger, who is not me in any sense of the word, is not even like me in personality. But as long as she's not just another character, as long as she's the stand-in for me, she would be my parame, my self-insert. So there's a wide range of them, and it goes all the way from being totally unlike you to being somebody else, and to being exactly like you with very, very few changes. Just the circumstances around you have changed. And then, of course, it goes all the way down to no one. Self characters are really common, but they're not universal. There's a lot of maladaptive daydreamers out there who just don't have a parame. I don't have one. I am not in my daydreams at all. We're going to give her drumsticks. There we go. She's got skills that we don't have in real life. But yeah, I don't know why I don't have a parame. I don't know why anybody develops one or doesn't develop one. Maybe there's some trait we all have in common. Maybe it's just luck of the draw. I guess we could say sort of that, sure, I'm in my daydreams in the sense that every character is some aspect of me, maybe. But I don't know. That seems like kind of a reach. So yeah, I mean that's basically the Parame in a nutshell. It is some version of the idolized self. Very few changes, very stark changes, and everything in between, including not even having one at all. Very, very common in maladaptive daydreaming to have an idealized self character. And the word itself, a community term. It was born when Tumblr started using the word para to mean a character, and is just kind of taken off from there. So don't worry if you haven't seen these terms before. They're not something that you're going to see in the media. They're not something that you're going to read in a research paper. They're things that you're going to see in individual posts and content creators using because that's their preference, because they feel like it describes their experience better maybe than the word idealized self or something like that. That's the thing about these terms too. Some people really like them and some people kind of despise them. I'm on the fence. I don't particularly like them. But at any rate, these are terms that you will see around the community if you participate in the online community. So just to know what people are talking about, it helps to have them defined for you. But everyone's going to know what you're talking about if you just say character. These aren't official or even universal terms. Not all MDers, and I would say probably the majority of MDers don't use these terms. Whether that's because they don't like them or just because they haven't really been exposed to them, I don't know. But they do seem to be gaining in popularity. So there is that. God, is there anything else we want to say about the Parame? Oh, I think it is worth mentioning, right, that Parames, and especially if you call it the idolized self, tends to imply a certain amount of perfection. And while that is often the case, it's not at all strange to give yourself insert a dark past or a dark side even. So that can take the form of your self character being a victim of any number of crimes or traumas, or they might be the perpetrator of these crimes or traumas. Your Parame could be a cold-blooded killer of orphans and stomper of kittens, and that doesn't particularly reflect on you. I mean, it does in a way that, like, something more like your daydreams are playing out scenarios in which you have the power. You don't need to take into account other people's feelings. You don't have to walk on eggshells. You're a stone cold badass, even if that is a little evil. Possibly. I mean, that's one interpretation. Obviously, I am not a therapist, and if you want to know what your daydreams mean, a therapist is probably who you should be talking to, or some sort of professional like that who can help you get to the bottom of the deeper meanings. But generally, unless there is something else going on with you, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you to put yourself in these situations where you are the victim or to victimize others in daydreams. There is some other need or wish in you that is being played out through, I don't know, archetypes, stereotypes. What's the easiest way to quickly get across those kinds of themes in your brain? And that's probably to just grab onto the first thing that sort of exemplifies them in the media that surrounds you or whatever. I mean, I could end up being a villain. I wonder if I can give him little arms. Yeah, here you go. Hold on to her leg. Oh, I messed this one up. Whatever. He's got her. And I think that's just about all I have to say about the Parame. I don't know. Maybe I should plan the next few a little better. Just kind of going off the cuff here. So if there's anything I should have added about the Parame or the idealized self, go ahead and stick it in the comments, because yeah, I'm not planning these videos out. We're just kind of going with the prompt and talking about, whatever the word brings to mind in regards to maladaptive daydreaming. And I hope these videos are at least a little bit informative, but it is also true that they may sometimes be a bit rambly. So yeah, tell me what kind of experience you have with the Parame down in the comments, or better yet, draw yourself a Maddtober sketch, tag it with Maddtober on Instagram, on Tumblr, come visit us on the Discord. And if you have the time, go over to Maddart channel, Maddart, watch his video on the prompt list, and the prompt list you can get on his Tumblr, which should be linked in the description of that video. Yes, those are things to say. Great. Okay. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm done.